Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, I always tell you guys, collect what you like. Well, the problem is, how do you know what you like? Well, something could, of course, be visually appealing to you, but more often than not, it's the story. And if a note has a good enough story, that makes it collectible. And the thing is if the story is good enough, that makes the note shareable as well. Now all of a sudden, it's not just you going, look how cool this is, but it's you saying, look how cool this is, and you won't believe the story behind it. And then you get to tell the story. So if you can find notes that have a cool enough story, that will attract people who don't even collect in the first place. And it's stories like that that help grow the hobby. When people realize that there are notes out there with stories that are so extravagant, that kind of draws them in. It's more than just, oh, it's $1. It's the story behind it. So yeah, always pay attention to that. And if the story gets your attention, well, what better reason to go out hunting for that particular note? Like I said, a note with a story, that story is going to live on forever. A lot of people nowadays are trying to sell stuff. I believe the quote was, we are going to change the way people view fancy serial numbers or something to that. No, you can't change the value of collectibles just by having an idea. Something is either rare or it's not. So when you're looking into those older notes that have those kind of stories, you can't take that away. That's always going to be part of the value of the note. All right, let's slide this out of the way and take a look at what I found this week. Starting off with a note with a stamp. Somebody put a little balloon there next to George. I grew pot. Well, he grew hemp. Yeah, so I guess with all the new distributors that are going throughout the country, this is a big thing because I'm seeing this more and more, this little stamp on here. Anyway, what do we got here? This is a trinary, 1s, 3s, and 8s. And of course, I don't put any additional value on trinaries. I simply pull them because I'm trying to match serial numbers. Two notes that have a matched serial number, that might have a little bit of extra value. But I do it this way because to me, it means even more knowing that I've found them in circulation. Another trinary, 0s, 1s, and 6s. This one is 4s, 6s, and 9s. 0s, 4s, and 5s. And quads, quad 2s. Now, with quads, I'm doing the same thing. Also trying to find paired quads as well. So quad 2s here. Quad 4s with a 5th. Quad 8s. And my stars. Always check your stars. Make sure they're not filled in. 2017 A star note. Another 2017. That's a fairly low number, starting with a bunch of zeros like that. 2017 A as well. 2017. And if you tilt your head just right, you can see that that 5 is ever so slightly higher. I don't pull gas pumps because a gas pump error, best case scenarios are maybe $2 or $3. When you have to squint to try to determine if it's a little bit higher, really, you can find enough of them that I don't bother pulling them at all, even if it's on a star. If you can't see a portion of the next note number, then to me it's not worth it. And if you have to squint to figure out which number is actually higher, yeah, just spend it. 2017 star, another 2017 star, another 2017, another 2017, 2017 there, 2013, 2013, 2013, 2013, that one's in good shape. And I will check all my stars when I do my After the Hunt video. Older notes, I keep 2003 A and back just because they're getting harder and harder to find. And this one also happens to be a star. And we're still in the stars. 1999 star note. There's something you don't see in circulation too often. All right, so now my older notes. 2003A. Another 2003A, pretty rough shape. 2003. 2003, this one's dirty, otherwise it was probably in better shape than the last couple. 1995, checking to see if it's a web note. It is not. Another 95. 1993, these are hard to find. And the oldest note I found, 1988A, really crisp. Too bad about the stain. I don't want to think about what the stain is. Just unfortunate because it's in really nice shape other than that. All right, so what did I pull out this week? Well, like I said, a story is what makes it good. And I've shown a couple of these in the past, but this was the newest one that I got, so I most certainly wanted to bring it out. This is from 1954, Ottawa, Canada. And you can see it has Queen Elizabeth on it. The Canadian notes are cool because they've got English on one side, French on the other. I can't read French. I didn't know that you could have the numbers in English on this side and then the numbers in French again on this side. I was always impressed by that. And you can see here 50 and yeah, that word. Oh, look, it says 50. Anyway, the $50 Canadian note. This is the first series to feature Queen Elizabeth on there. And if we take a look at the back, $50, $50. I'm just looking to see what's written on here, if there's anything else. You can see the shoreline, the waves crashing up against the rocks. This particular note isn't in the greatest of shape. It does have the hard vertical and horizontal folds, and you can see a little bit of the handling on there. A little bit of dirt, but hey, it's a $50 bill from 1954 Canada. Now, like I said, this is the first series to feature Queen Elizabeth. Thing is that when Queen Elizabeth was ascended to the throne, she was not the most favorite person, because it was her uncle who was the king, and he advocated the throne so that he could marry his English mistress. That changed the line of the crown. She was 18th in line in the for the crown, and she then became second in line when her father took over, and then she ended up as the queen. So 1954, people were a little unsure about the actual lineage, and they didn't think that was right. Some people were very upset about that, like the person who engraved this image, because they decided to play a little joke. If you look right here, you can see this white part right here. That's a nose. And if you look under it, you can see a mouth, and there's an eye, and there's an eye, and you can even see horns. This is known as the devil's head, or the devil's face note. The devil's head note from 1954 Canada. That is amazing that they got away with that. Now, they did end up redoing these notes, and they did what's called a modified version. And the modified version basically blacks out the entire devil's head image right there. But that doesn't change the fact that a lot of these devil's heads got out into circulation. This is the highest denomination that I have. I believe they made a 100 and then also I don't know if they made a 500, but I know they made 1,000. I do not have 100 or I do not have 100 or 1,000, but this is the highest denomination I had. Now, these get expensive. So for me, it's rather tough to spend big bucks on foreign currency without having an up-to-date price guide to give me some kind of idea of the actual values on these notes. I do know that you'll find the lower versions, you'll find the $1 notes selling for, $30, $40, $50. And I'm not going to say that you just multiply by that to get the prices, but they can get expensive. I'm sure that the 100 would most certainly cost at least 1,000, if not a lot more than that. Anyway, I was able to find the $50 devil's head at a reasonable price, so I decided that I was going to add it to my collection. I've got the 1 through the 20 in both the devil's head and the modified version. I can probably find a 50 modified fairly easily, but just to see the Devil's Head version come up for sale, I had to jump on this. So yeah, my next quest will be the Modified 50. Should be pretty easy. Anyway, that's what I've got for you guys this week, the 1954 $50 Canadian Devil's Head note. If you learned anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.